I spoke on a number of things that could cause some challenges, some esteem issues, some insecurities, and different things like that in my life. Something that could have caused me to act a fool, to be bitter, to be a troublemaker, to anything like that. But because of my emotional maturity, because of what I want for myself as a person, I decided to be better than that. Assalamu alaikum, peace. It's Nyla, Coach Nyla, one of the co-founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships, as well as co-author of Let's Talk Polygyny Uncensored. Now, it's been told that, or it's been known, because it is known, I don't care what anyone has to say about it, that women are more emotional and men are more logical, which tend to be true. We do have a strong emotional gene. Of course, why wouldn't we? We are the nurturers, the carers. Not saying that men don't care, not saying that men don't nurture, but we are naturally, that's what is ingrained in us. So yes, we can tend to be more emotional when it comes to handling things, when it comes to thinking about things, when it comes to just thinking about things in our lives. We could tend to rule more with emotion, or first with emotion, and probably follow it up later with logic. I'm also speaking from experience, but I learned to be more logical with a lot of things. I'm a very big picture thinker. So when it comes to pretty much anything in life, for the most part, now don't get me wrong, I get emotional. I get into my emotional states as well. However, even when I get into my emotional states, I take a step back and think, am I overreacting? Am I being too emotional? Am I not looking at the bigger picture? Am I not being logical? So that's my mental, and that's the question that I'm going to kind of dig into today in this video. On can wives be logical? Can we be objective when it comes to polygyny? And people would think that this is mainly a first wives question, but I think it's just wives period. Can you be objective? Can you be objective and see the bigger picture of anything when it comes to polygyny? The bigger picture of meeting with your co-wife, the bigger picture of your husband deciding to marry again, the bigger picture of Islam, or whatever religion that you decide, that you're part of, that allows polygyny, or that not only allows polygyny but regulates polygyny. Why does it do that? For one, we're Muslim. I'm Muslim. You guys can see that. So it's no secret, and we practice polygyny under the rules of Islam. And what that means is that it's regulated. The husband can have up to 4 wives. There's no hierarchy in the wives. Like there's a totem pole type of thing, like this, because this wife was first or second, and the third or the second or third wife, they come beneath her or beneath the one that came before her. Those type of things. It's not supposed to exist. I'm not gonna say it doesn't exist. It's regulated. It's not supposed to exist. So when it comes down to it, can we see the bigger picture? Can we see that polygyny can be beneficial? And even though we may have our emotional feelings about it, whether it's the emotional feeling of how it could have been done or how it was done, if a person wasn't told or anything like that, can we get out of our emotions and really be objective and say, a couple of things. Was I in a position of being a person that can be talked to about this? And this is, people will have a problem with this, but I'm not here for a popularity contest. I'm here to tell it like it is. I'm here for people who are really wanting to understand how to control themselves, how to be more open, how to have outstanding relationships, how they should, for best practices, behave. And one of the things is how you behave is being a better you and actually taking responsibility for the things that you do and celebrating the amazing things that you do. We are in control of ourselves. So when it comes down to it, I've seen wives act a fool, like seriously act a fool, and state that they will act a fool if their husband decided to practice polygyny, or if he even came to them with the idea of practicing polygyny. Now, in certain areas, that's not an issue because women know that polygyny is practiced and polygyny is widely practiced in these specific areas. So, because they know that, that's not a thing for them that is a big competition. It's like, okay, this is a part of that could be a possible, it could possibly be a part of my life. And because it could possibly be a part of my life, I need to realize how I can handle it. And a lot of times, because they know that, and because a that can be entertained in any point in time, they look at it in a mature way. We can control how we look at things. We can control how we handle things. So can we be objective? Can we be objective and say, hey, I'm going to mind my marriage. He's still married to me. Although he's married to her, and could be married to her or her and her, he's still married to me, and I got to mind my marriage. I have to make sure that I am doing the things that I need to do so we can work together to build our marriage so our marriage can be successful. And no one else can control that. No one else can come in between that, because this is about he and I type of thing. So if women were more objective to that, to say, okay, well, yeah, let's go back and say, okay, well, what if he did marry someone else and didn't inform you? A couple of things. One, was I, in the position, have I ever showed him anything that could have possibly threw him off, that stated that he could not come to me? As he could have been a person that wanted to protect my feelings and protect my heart. It's interesting because I was reminded of something. There was a man, I guess he cheated on his wife, and is no way, shape, or form connected with polygyny, because people want to kind of twist that around, and that's not the case. However, this is the point that I'm making with this story. The man cheated on his wife, and I guess she found out about it, and he stated he lied to her, told her that he wasn't cheating on her, he wasn't, doing these things, even though she knew that he was, or she ended up finding out he was, and he lied. And she was like, well, why did you lie to me? Why did you feel like you had to lie to me? He's like, I lied to you to protect your heart. I lied to you. You knew the type of man I was. You knew these type of things. Some of the lines that I could be like paraphrasing. However, a lot of the times, and this is not to give a pass, and this is not okay, because Coach Nyla talks about it as well, and talks about it even in his manhood course, where you have to be man enough to deal with the difficult situations. You have to be man enough, and twice the man, and work on your manhood skills to make sure that you still have to figure out what decisions you're going to make, and you still have to deal with whatever comes from that. So, and it's better for you to be upfront and honest than to be dishonest. Now, if it's something that you didn't do, like you did not tell the person, but you didn't necessarily, you didn't hide anything, or you didn't lie about it or anything like that, you just simply, and I guess people say, well, if you didn't tell, then you did lie, or if you didn't tell, you did hide it, or whatever the case may be. However, it's really interesting because that goes into the whole objectiveness, because if you were to do the same thing as a wife, not saying that you would do the same thing as marrying someone else and not telling, but if there was some shoes, and it's crazy because women say, well, why you bring up shoes and why you bring up clothes? Because I'm bring up things that women, well, me, like feminine women, not just me, but feminine women that I know are going to talk about. We're going to talk about buying things for the house. We're going to talk about clothes. We're going to talk about, different things like that. And we may have spent an excessive amount of money on a particular thing that we wanted, and we didn't tell him, and he found out later about it. And we just like, we just didn't really want to hear it. that I was protecting his heart, or I can't say protecting his heart because that sounds really crazy, but that I was protecting him in some type of way, shape, or form. But technically, you probably were just protecting yourself because you didn't want to hear it. You knew that he was going to have some problems with it, or an issue, or whatever the case may be. It's like, you know what? I don't want to talk to him about this. I'm just going to buy it, and I'll talk about it later, or we'll discuss it. But I already have it now, so the situation is different. That's what I'm saying about being objective, and I'm poking fun a little bit, and I know people will come for me and say, you know what, it's not funny. It's not a funny situation. The thing is, it's what we make it out to be. There's times when, now, if you're not being abused, you're not being beat on, it's just it happens to be that your husband married someone else, possibly didn't tell you, or say your husband did tell you, and you're still feeling some type of way. It's like he has to weigh out these options because he still loves you. He still wants to protect you. He still wants to do these things. But people say, well, if that's the case, then he just shouldn't marry. So it's okay for you to get everything you want, but it's not okay for him to get what he wants. And I'm not saying that, because it's, this sexual nature or whatever the case may be, because people want to just put it to that. And I don't want to say diminish it, because in order to create a legacy, in order to have more children, you do have to have sex. I know people understand that, right? So not that's just a sexual desire thing, but as a legacy building desire thing, or as whatever it is that he wants and the other wife agrees on, or anything like that, that's still their marriage. Just like your marriage is your marriage. So were you that person, or are you that person that he could just come to you? Have you ever mentioned it to him? Or did you ever say that? If you ever did this, because it's out there, people know that polygyny is a thing. They say, if this ever happens, this is what I'm going to do. So then he said, okay, either I'm going to deal with somebody that's extremely manipulative, because they will threaten whatever they need to threaten me with in order to get their way, or we can actually discuss it like rational adults and try to figure out if it's something that's really worth, me pursuing, or, if we can come to some type of understanding, not necessarily an agreement, but an understanding. And that understanding is that your marriage is your marriage, and their other marriage is that other marriage. That's what I mean about being objective. A lot of times I will actually be the person that is, what they call it? They call it the unpopular opinion. I'm the one that comes with the unpopular opinions, or the unpopular ideas, or whatever the case may be, because yes, I am for polygyny. I do believe that we are in control, and we can be in control of how we see things, and how we react to things, and how we respond to things, even if it's done in a negative fashion. I spoke on my insecurities in a previous video. I spoke on different things as being a subsequent wife, or an initial wife in the first wife world. I spoke on a number of things that could cause some challenges, some esteem issues, some insecurities, and different things like that in my life. Something that could have caused me to act a fool, to be bitter, to be a troublemaker, to anything like that. But because of my emotional maturity, because of what I want for myself as a person, I decided to be better than that. So yes, certain things could have not been done in a way that was ideal. Still, even for me as an initial wife, as an incoming wife, still yet, I still have to think, what is the best way to relay this to, the man that I married, or that I married, that married me. How do I best relay that to him so he can understand? so we can actually grow through it and not have this bitter back and forth type of match, or that I created a hostile environment. So now when I become better or understand it a little bit more, or realize that he did what he needed to do, or what he felt he needed to do, and he had to learn and grow through it, just like I had to learn and grow through it. And now that I understand that, I'm okay, but I created a lot of disarray or a lot of destruction in that journey to finding, the bigger picture, or seeing the bigger picture. Is that okay? Now I want him to understand that, hey, I'm better now. Not realizing the destruction that I left in the wake of that. Not realizing that I caused some distrust as well. We could say that, well, there was distrust over here, so two wrongs make a right. Or can we say, you know what? Why did this happen? Did I cause this? Did I have a reason for this to happen? And ask the person, ask your spouse, and then come together with that. So when I talk about being objective, it's being able to see things from both sides, not just being emotional, and not just saying, well, this is how I feel, and it's about my feelings, and it's not about anybody else's. My co-wife talk about it a lot too, that everybody has feelings in this. So it's not just about one person, but being able to communicate, being able to really look deep inside and say, you know what? How can we make this better? Can I be objective? Can I see the bigger picture? And if I can't see it in my own eyes, can I communicate intelligently and maturely with my spouse in order to see the bigger picture, to see what it is that he wants, and not just look at it for what I think it is? Because he may say it's a certain thing, and then if I still have my idea of what I think it is, regardless of what he say, then we aren't on the same page. And then I'm dismissing his truth by giving him my thoughts about what he felt. One thing we can't do is tell another person what they feel like. What we can't do is tell a person what they may, why they did what they did, because we don't know that. We only know what we did, why we did it, and how we responded to it, and why we responded the way we responded to it. So if we want to be objective, we got to see the bigger picture, and we got to see the whole picture. In order to do that, we need to see it from all different angles. Inshallah, God willing, this video helped you and gave you some type of insight. If it did, make sure you subscribe and share it, because sharing is caring. And click that notification bell, be part of the notification gang, so you will be notified of our videos that we upload each week. And until next time, make sure you are growing intentionally, loving fearlessly, and connecting on a higher level every single day. For more information and deep training, make sure you visit us at outstandingpersonalrelationships.com and check out our Successful Marriage Challenge at outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/Black Friday. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum. Peace.
Here are 3 ways Outstanding Personal Relationships can help you.
One is by following us on our social medias. Follow us on IG at Outstanding Relationships, and on Facebook and YouTube at Outstanding Personal Relationships. And make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell.
Number 2, make sure you head over to outstandingpersonalrelationships.com and subscribe to the email list. From there, you will get downloads as well as updates, any and all updates. And you also get an update on the release of our new book, Let's Talk Polygyny, Uncensored.
Number 3, if you are serious about polygyny relationships and really developing fulfillment and happiness, make sure you register for our Relationship Mastery Inner Circle, which is members only, which includes downloads. It includes access to us live on a weekly basis. So that's at outstandingpersonalrelationships.com/RM. We'll see you soon. Assalamu alaikum.
Peace.